Good morning and welcome to Mission Alive. I'm Brother Greg McCann. We're talking about the MSC mission in China. We started off talking about in part one the early German missionaries, and now in part two we're talking about the last 20 years and what happened then. I went there in 1998 and I came back in 2012. And during that time I was able to get very close to Shenzhen, where the German missionaries actually had their apostolic prefecture prior to being a diocese. Last day I talked about visiting Shenzhen Church, the old mud church built by the Germans, unbelievably huge even by Chinese standards, but very much in disarray and definitely it was condemned. It was going to be condemned by the government and pulled down, but I managed to get there. It was amazing. The timing was extraordinary. I was able to get there in time to contact the MSCs in Rome, and they were able to send money to fix it up, but that's another story to come later. At this stage I introduced the orphans, especially Amy, and I'll have more to say about Amy later on. So today I'd like to bring to your mind the MSC sisters who arrived. I was contacted by them, and the bishop had said they could have the convent back again. The government offered to give them the convent back again. And of course I was very excited, the bishop was excited, and the MSC sisters were excited. So they sent a delegation to come to China. But unfortunately when they arrived, they were wearing crosses everywhere and they looked just like nuns. The government picked it up immediately, realised that they were foreign missionaries, and nothing eventuated, but that can't be helped. That was the way things were. Wasn't meant to be, probably. So let me just introduce to the MSC sisters. In 2005, 3 MSC sisters from Korea visited Shenzhen, and they were able to go to the old convent next to the church. It had been turned into a Communist Party museum dedicated to the Long March. But as an adjunct to that, I might add, the government had offered to give it back to the church if they could find a good use for it. These nuns were all ready to make it a clinic and turn it into a place, a convent and a refuge, maybe have more orphans and all that sort of thing. It would have been an excellent addition to Shenzhen. However, it didn't eventuate, as I explained before. When we were there, the sister managed to find an old lady in her 90s who was once a sister with the German sisters, and she had many interesting stories to tell them. So this old lady never married, and I don't know how the nuns found out about her, but it was great to hear her story about the early missionaries. She remembered them. She remembered them very well. She remembered the priests and the brothers and the nuns and the orphans. After the expulsion of the missionaries, she was told to leave the convent and get married. However, it seems as though she continued to live a full religious life and was highly thought of by the community. Now, on the top left-hand photo, there's a well. See the well there? That was dug in front of the convent by the early missionaries. So we're going, that well would be built probably in 1928, probably, something like that, 27. And it was considered, when they did it, to be the best water in town, because nobody there really had much, they didn't have really good facilities. It was used by everyone in town, I was told, and became a great social meeting place. Now, to this day, it's covered by a statue recalling a person on the Great Long March. But it can't be helped. So here's a picture of a couple of the sisters in front of the convent, which had been restored by for the Long March, and there's the dear old nun being interviewed by the MSC sisters.